Hi again, I'm Sam Kennedy. I'm down here at Drew Lake in Watsonville, California, and I want to talk a little bit about the guarantee that I give with my bird lure. You know, 7 years ago when I was down here fishing and I saw that largemouth bass pick that white-breasted tree swallow off a tule, I couldn't believe what I just saw. And immediately I ran up to my shop and I made a bird lure out of an old super rattling rat, and I created a little white-breasted tree swallow. And then I came down and started fishing that little bird lure and started just catching them up. And I couldn't believe that birds were actually on the menu for bass. And this was 7, 8 years ago when I learned this. And then my friends were still fishing their frogs and their rats, but I was out fishing them basically on my bird lure. And it got to the point where they were wanting me to build them a bird lure. So all my little handful of friends around here, we quit fishing the frogs and rats years ago. We all had these little homemade prototype bird lures up till about 3 or 4 years ago when they asked me to, you know what, Sam, you need to take this to market. And that's when I started going through the process of seeing if there was actually any other hollow-bodied bird lures out there. And believe it or not, there was not. And I can't believe it that all these big lure companies never came up with a bird lure. But I guess good for me anyway. Anyways, what I want to do is I want to talk about the guarantee of this bird lure and the fact that it is such an awesome lure. And when you get your hands on one, that you will give up on your frogs and your rats, and you'll specifically start throwing the bird. And the reason why the bird is such a better lure is that when you use the bird, you cast it into the strike zone and you don't need to retrieve it. Unlike a frog and a rat, you got to pull it across the lagoon to give it its action, and then you're basically pulling it out of the strike zone. The bird, you throw it into the strike zone and you let it sit and you play bird. You let it quiver and shimmy right there in its spot in the strike zone and give the bass time to locate it and come up and clobber it. And let me show you this here. This is, we caught a fish, we weren't bird fishing the other day, we were throwing jigs over at Pinnacle Lake, another lake around here. But we caught this largemouth bass and look what was in its mouth. My buddy goes, hey, I caught this 4-pounder on this jig, and look what it had in its mouth. And it had all these little bird feathers were in the mouth of this largemouth. I'm like, holy Toledo. He goes, yeah, man, they're eating birds out here. And I was like, you know what? It's such ironic how everybody has a bird story of how fish, eat birds, and the fact that no one's actually created a weedless hollow-bodied bird lure is baffling. But anyway, back to the guarantee though, because I'm so excited and I've seen this lure in action, and all my fishing buddies, which we're all 25-year anglers, we're not no beginning fishermen, are convinced and sold on this bird lure. And believe me, they don't fish this bird because they like me. They fish this bird lure because it catches fish. So I'm very confident in throwing a guarantee out there to you that if you get a bird from me, you give it a trim, you haircut it, you get it all tuned, ready to go, and you go out there and use it. And if you are unhappy with the thing, and if you really are convinced that it's a piece of junk, let me know and I'll give you your money back, no questions asked. No one has ever called me on it. I'm giving a full money back guarantee on my lure. I'm totally convinced that it will be the best lure you have top water wise in your box, and you will not give them up. So if you are a little skeptical, once again, I'm giving you a 100% money back guarantee. You can't lose, but there's a whole lot to gain. And I guarantee you, when you get one bird, you're going to want to have another bird, your white-breasted tree swallow. You're going to want to come out with my bestseller and get yourself a red-winged blackbird. That thing is trick right there. That is a fish catching machine right there. But once again, so I'm giving all of you, all of America, everyone across the world, if you get yourself a bird lure and you don't like it, I will give you your money back. I will pay for the shipping. So that's my guarantee from me to you, that this lure is a worker, no gimmick, fish catching son of a gun, and I'm backing it up with my guarantee.